Yeah, look at that.
No, I'm switching from that. I'm switching to real estate investor. I didn't think he was gonna start, but nevertheless, that's
No,
cool.
right. That's all
cool.
it is, bro. But it'd be surprised me too. I'm just getting out the bathroom. All right, bro. Let me do my thing, man. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, Juan Paul. We got Deshaun right here. I've met you since what?
16?
No, the first time was in Chicago. I think it was at an event. Then the second time was in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Right. And since then, you've acquired some properties in Indiana. Is that correct? And as well as Chicago. So how was that experience investing in two separate states?
Ooh. Well,
I mean, you gotta learn all the different tenancy laws. You gotta know what street's a good street, what's a good block.
Yeah.
How's that experience?
well, I went from single family over there to multifamily.
In Indiana. Single family in Indiana.
Single family.
Correct me if I'm wrong. How many units you had over there?
Just 3 single families.
And those were tax sales or tax liens.
Tax sales, which I had called them on.
See, I still remember.
Yeah, you do.
And then now here you have your first multifamily in Chicago.
Yeah.
So which one do you preference? The multifamily aspect, the single family, and why?
Let the single family go, I did, because it was going to take more money. When I was acquiring business credit, it was going to take more money
To fix them up.
to fix them up when I could just start here and already cash flow day one.
So this was a yield play for you. If you don't mind, Deshaun, explaining what is a yield play?
Well, almost in the sense of a buy and hold.
Yes.
Buy and hold, you know, straight off the top of my head, it's just simply a buy and hold and just straight cash flowing thereafter, using somebody else's money, in a sense.
Absolutely correct. So you're buying a property that's already yielding cash flow,
Yes.
hence the name, yield play. But you also have another thing called a value play. And that's where the tax liens come into play, right? Value play is when you're buying a distressed asset. In order to make your buck, your cash flow, you gotta improve the value. But that can take a lot more time, a lot more resources. But I highly recommend yield play. Now we just came from a flip. That was obviously a value play, which is still a good model, but our preference, you know what, if I'm still working or if I have other priorities, I'd rather buy an apartment building that already got tenants in it, minimum work required, start collecting that check.
Minimum.
No work required. You might want to take a look.
Let's go, man. Whatever you want to do.
All right, so oftentimes, right, we focus so much on the acquisition part of real estate investing. Like, let's celebrate. I got my first multifamily property, 6 units, it's all mine. That's half the battle, ain't it?
That's half the whole, man.
The other half is what? The management of it.
Yes, to maintain it.
It's not obtaining the deal, it's maintaining the deal. That's where the nitty gritty comes into place. Because you have other people that's going to be with you in the long haul, for the long term, like tenants, right? Contractors, property management. There's some things that you need to focus on, right? So what I want to use Deshaun for is if you can just be as transparent as possible, right? Tell everybody the good, the bad, the ugly, of what happened when you acquired your first multifamily property out of state.
Okay.
I ran through the same issues, and it was tough to the point I felt like pulling my hair out. I didn't know what to do. But at the end of the day, I always kept this in mind. You know what? This too will pass. I will be able to stabilize this property. Right? So let's go inside. Let's take a look.
2 units, blah, blah, blah. And you have those there. All 1 bedrooms on this side and all 2 bedrooms on that side. Which is pretty cool.
What kind of finish you got?
A mix.
Section A?
Mix. Oh, mix. When I say mix, you have...
Do you have a preference? Or what kind of tenant you select in this property?
Yeah, because this was a the first one, so it took it a little step at a time.
Ooh, it's a nice hardwood.
Hardwood. Yeah, man.
Guys, normally when you buy properties up north, most people from down south will know this. Like Rudy might not know it, Ron might not know it, but oftentimes you don't have central air.
Nope.
That's like a luxury.
Yes.
Right, that's like the luxury of the rich. Down south, necessity. Hands down, you can't survive without that, right? 'Cause I'm used to it in Pittsburgh as well. But it's a beautiful place, man. You know, you said this is a 2-bedroom?
Mm-hmm.
Two bedroom. Now, we were talking prior to the camera start rolling about the tenant base, right? The type of tenant he has. Now, you said you have a mixture of people who pay their rent via public assistance.
Yep. CHA, I have one CHA, which is Chicago Housing Authority, which is basically Section 8.
Section 8, yeah.
And then have 2 homeless programs that are funded by a program. And so what they do is they transition them out of their program into individual.
Oh, so they're pretty much like rehabilitating them?
Yeah, rehabilitating them to their own living space.
Excellent. They never later on.
No.
You get that money on the first?
On the first.
Good to go. Now, how you feel about property inspections, you know, with CHA and so forth?
Well, I guess because I do a lot of the work myself, so I'm really not intimidated by it. It's just that, okay, all right, if I fail, let's just go ahead and fix what they want. But I go to the classes, and so when you go to the class, you get to learn, catch on ahead before the inspection.
So before they come, you can already fix those issues. But one thing I pretty much dislike is, well, for us to say this in the positive note, I did appreciate them taking having an eye on my properties. So that way, me being out of state, they're, you know, letting me know what's wrong and so forth. But I would hate after I fixed it, they would come back and say, "Oh yeah, I see these other 3 things that need to get fixed." Like, well, why'd you say that the first time?
They can't do that here.
Oh, they can't do that here?
No.
Oh,
because
okay.
the Chicago Housing Department, it's not just HUD program. It's backed by Chicago Housing Department, and they train them a specific way. Once they find it, that's it.
So they see
So
something
when they come
else.
back for the reinspection, that's it.
See, now that's preferred. But you can tell that each market has their own different regulations. That's why it's very important, depending on the market you invest in, that you know the tenancy and housing laws.
Yes.
Especially using public assistance.
Yes.
All right, guys, so we're about to wrap this up. We're going to go into the other parts of this property and ask Deshaun some more questions about property management and so forth. All right, so now we're in the 1-bedroom, right?
Yes, sir.
So prior to coming in, you knocked on the door.
Yes, sir.
Brian, you asked the question. What was that question?
Why is this unit vacant? Like, I'm looking for, bro, you sure ain't nobody here? For real? Like, let me get out the way.
Hey, man, no.
What you do is do what? What are you doing in advance?
Well, always notify them. Can't just, in the city of Chicago, let me state this, in the city of Chicago, you have to give a 48-hour notice before you can enter any area, but Chicago, Cook County is really, really strict. It's like all tenancy laws across the United States was built really off Chicago laws.
Wow. So you see how knowledgeable he is? You have to be the same way in your market as well.
Yeah.
So I know we're talking a lot about the property, but let's talk about the numbers. Okay. Right, so the cash flow, like what's the gross revenue received from all 6 units?
All 6 units this year will be touching about 66,000. When I first purchased this.
Well, let's say on a monthly level.
On a monthly level.
Yeah, break it down.
On a monthly level, you want mortgage? What you want?
Oh, the revenue. What's the revenue on a monthly?
Oh, 55.
So 5,500, right? Now, what about the mortgage?
About 1,900.
1,900. Okay. Utilities?
Utilities anywhere from about 5 to 6, give and take, whether it's winter, whether it's summer.
Okay, so let's say 550. Okay. Any landscaping, groundkeeping?
No, I'm over that.
Okay,
I do most of that, unless I outsource it for once.
What's the taxes and insurance included in the mortgage, or
Yep.
that's separate?
That's all, everything.
Okay,
That's
reserves. How much do you allocate towards reserves for maintenance, vacancies?
Give or take, what's that 5% rule? So looking at that, probably about 280 a month.
Do you have any other debt service outside the mortgage? Business credit or self-finance?
Not right now, no.
So what's your cash flow right now?
$2,700
per month off 6 units.
Yes, sir.
That's great cash flow.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it wasn't awesome in the beginning.
It was not. It was hard.
What was hard about it?
Oh man, I tell anybody, it's easy to acquire the property. Most people think, oh man, I ain't got the money. Oh, I need to call JP. Man, I need the business finance. Oh man, all right, I need a 780 credit score. That's easy. I think that's the easy part. I think it's even easy once you acquire it. It's once you get in here and you face 6 people and you look at them in the face and they start rejecting you. They start telling you, I ain't paying my rent this month. You start giving a 5-day notice, which you have to give here in Chicago. Then you got to go ahead and execute that 5-day notice and go carry it to a lawyer.
So that means eviction time.
It's eviction time. So I went through 4 evictions and purchased this building in 17th of March. By August, I was in eviction with 3 people. 3 people out of 6. And then the 4th lady told me that I worked for the airport. She said, I'm leaving because you installed cameras. That was her own psyche, but nevertheless, she left. So now I only have 2 people supporting me.
So it wasn't pretty at first.
It wasn't pretty.
It was negative cash flow.
It was negative.
So that's why it is important, ladies and gentlemen. When you acquire property, you need to have reserves at closing.
Yep.
Just in case you have to do turnover.
Yep.
Right? So now that you spent several months stabilizing the property with 6 tenants in there, you now are making $2,700 a month. That deserves a round of applause because it's not easy, guys, especially with property management and maintenance. It's a people business. Many people forget that about real estate. They think it's just a numbers game. Oh, I got to go through a lot of listings. I got to submit a lot of offers. You know, which is cool, right?
It works.
It works.
Okay, all right.
But then it's like, oh, this is a people-based game too.
Yes. You have to learn people, man.
And you got to respect your clientele. Like many landlords that I know, like in the business, they talk bad about their tenants and they say, oh man, it ain't about nothing, man. It's tenant. I'm like, bro, don't you understand that they're paying your bills?
Yep.
They're affording your lifestyle.
Don't disrespect them.
Don't disrespect them.
Respect their privacy. That's
exactly.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. Because you need them in order for you to eat as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? But you got to make sure that you still rule, and you correct me if I'm wrong, you still got to, I will say this, you still have to rule with an iron fist.
Yes.
I say initially, be the asshole.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of lighten up once a tenant's proven himself to be responsible, pay the rent on time. But if you come across being a softie, like, oh, don't worry about it. You can pay me that security deposit 3 weeks after you move in. Oh, no problem. I get it. You know, things happen with your job.
Been there. You can't do it.
You can't do it. And you can't be emotionally attached to it either. You got to be a professional.
Yes. From day one.
From day one.
Yeah.
So speaking from one professional to another, this is deaI. I'm so happy for you, man.
Man, appreciate it.
So you liquidated those properties in Indiana. You bought your 6 unit. What's the next plan for you?
Well, 3 months after this, what happened was we purchased another one. 3 months, 7 unit.
7 unit in Chicago?
Right. 10 minutes away.
So 13?
13.
And what's the plan to be again to you?
End of this year.
Oh, yeah.
End of the year. Is to have both properties appraised. Because the mortgage company that I go through allow that appraisal to stick for 1 year and they honor that.
Wow.
And right now Chicago's market is booming. Got in at a certain price, I would say it probably doubled in 1 year.
So what are you going to do with that equity?
Oh, it's time to upscale.
Look at that. It's like a mad genius.
It's time to it is. It's time to upscale. And you know, you can only watch YouTube clips for so long. It's time to put it in practice.
And that's what we say a lot too, deaI.
Yeah.
Don't just be a viewer, be a doer.
Be a doer.
Right? I understand that you monetize this property by the 6 units in here. Is there any other ways you can monetize this property?
Oh yeah, cash flow in the garage, man.
So you make cash flow off the garage too? You might want to take a look?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That's fine, man.
See, most people think you can only monetize an apartment just by the units, right? I got 6 units, I got 6 tenants, I got 6 chests coming in.
Yep.
Cool. But you can also do what? You can also charge people application fees.
Yep.
Coin laundry.
Yep.
Right? Vending machines.
Yep.
And in your case, you got this bad boy right here, right?
4-car garage.
4-car garage. And if you don't mind sharing, how much do you make off this garage in total?
Here's what happened. $50 a month because he was an inherited person.
Okay.
He's an inherited person. So he's older.
So he's grandfathered in.
Grandfathered in. Don't even live here, but $50 a month.
Okay.
I'll take it.
But it's still additional revenue.
Still additional.
That's just the beauty of real estate, isn't it?
Yep.
Now, one of the things I've done, and you let me know if you do this as well. When I first bought my property out of state, I had a huge issue with just break-ins. Break-ins upon teenagers just want to skip school, break in. So what did you do? I'm not sure you had the same experience, but what would you do to kind of make sure that you secure the property?
Oh man. I still work on my job, and they teach safety. One thing is safety. Safety. Yeah, safety. And have gates around, about 5 gates around the property. And what I did was I rekeyed each gate. I closed off the access to anybody that may want to come in the property that doesn't live here. So I rekeyed them, gated it, secured the gates, installed 12 cameras. Installed security cameras, 24-hour surveillance. So I can watch from my phone, baby.
See, and he's talking low at a low volume. I know you're like, wait, I can't hear
you can hear me.
Because there's tenants around, of course. And you let me know you're trying to be incognito, like you don't want them to know you're the owner.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're just the property manager, the maintenance guy?
No maintenance.
Maintenance guy, right. And oftentimes you do that. I did the same thing. I said, you know what? They said, hey, can I get new carpet? I don't think the owner would allow new carpet.
Yeah.
It looks, but I'm the owner.
Yeah.
But I ain't letting them know that because they're gonna try to go to you and try to, you know, trying to finesse you and negotiate with you.
Yes, sir.
So outside of that, he wants to keep his voice at a minimum because he don't want them to know he got 12 security cameras that's linked up to your cell phone, and which you can keep an eye on your property. Now that's important if you're an out-of-state investor. Okay. Now I'd highly encourage you to get started in real estate as well as multifamily real estate. Now let me ask you this, Deshaun. Was it a difficult barrier to entry to get into multifamily real estate?
Yes, at first it was.
And what was the difficulties you experienced?
Banks denied.
Banks.
Even though I had the money in the bank. In 2016, I had the money in the bank, and I went to a local bank, and they told me, they said, well, we don't want you just to have, I'm just gonna make them a number, 70,000 in the bank. We want you to have
100,
whatever, 100, whatever. You know, it was something. It was up there. And I said, and they asking all questions. Where is it coming from? I couldn't say business credit cards,
verification funds, right?
I couldn't say lines of credit. I couldn't say that.
So you got
so I got denied.
Quote unquote 70,000 from business credit.
Business credit, lines of credit, you know.
And where'd you get the lines of credit and business credit?
Some of it I did myself, and then I have a banker business friend.
Okay.
So I reached out to him in different things and some no-doc lines of credit, all type of things. So I tried to maximize a lot of the ways to get the funding.
So the lender you work with is integral because we had a lot of clients who faced those difficulties as well. They try to go to a lender and say, oh, I'm just getting this from a credit card. That's the worst thing you can say.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
But you want to make sure that you deal with a lender that doesn't have to verify your bank statements.
Yes.
So there are some multifamily mortgage lenders out there who will provide you with funding on a commercial mortgage without A, bank statements, so you have to verify the funds, and B, without experience as well. Because some investors have that issue too. Well, I don't know if I can give you a commercial mortgage simply because you're wet behind the ears.
Yep.
Get started in residential first. But there are a few lenders out there that'll say, you know what, we'll approve you.
I'll say this, in the Chicago market, is that at first I was dealing with a realtor who didn't know none, man. She didn't know nothing.
Not an investor.
No, didn't know none. I ended up linking up with this other guy who was selling a property for somebody, and I wanted to see it. And this broker said, well, they took it off the market. I said, no, I'm going to meet him myself. So I went and reached out to that broker, and what I did was he became the next key to the lending company that I found that didn't require where I got the money from, that didn't require anything. They're a non-traditional bank, non-for-profit. What they do is they get their money from well over 60 big banks, Chase, PNC, Bank of America, all of those. They didn't worry about me being out of town. They didn't worry about where I got the money from. They didn't care. And it wasn't that type of hard money lending or loan or any astronomical numbers.
Conventional still.
It was still good.
Wow.
It was still good, man. So it was good. But meantime, what we'll do is I can show you the security system. I can show you the safety and all those different things. If you want to shoot to that.
Many things that come into play with multifamily. Is one thing about property management. Another thing, maintenance. There's another thing, acquiring a property, financing the property, and of course, the security, making sure this place is safe.
Oh man, without a doubt.
So let's take a look. So here we are, right in the basement?
Yeah, man. One of the cleanest basements you can in Chicago.
And that's one thing I like to see when I come into a basement, the separated meters.
Yes.
Right, because you don't want to be spending your money on utilities.
No.
Because when you're responsible for the utilities and the tenant's not, they don't care.
Nope. They use it all.
They use it all?
Yes. Yes, sir.
All right, so we got the gas meters over here too.
Individual.
What about?
I do pay for 2 of them though, but that's in the money though.
Okay, and what about the water?
Water is all one.
All one, so you own
I pay
for the water.
Yep.
And it's like that with a lot of older buildings.
Yeah, it is, especially in Chicago. It's expensive to get away from that, so to separate.
So it looks like you have storage over here. Is this for your tenants, or you all use this for yourself?
Nope.
Sold it for yourself?
Yep, because of safety.
Because of safety. Excellent.
Safety. Don't want to worry about them closing that door. Don't want to worry about any theft. Don't want to worry about anybody.
So you can keep all your supplies right down here. So when you start to grow your portfolio,
this is it.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty much your hub for all your materials.
Yep.
So that way you can use the same paint for every room, same carpet or flooring, same tile, and just make it a cookie cutter approach.
Yeah, probably before y'all got here, about few months ago. I just took all the rest of it back to Home Depot.
There you go.
I was done with it. Store credit.
There you go. Oh, so it's your office.
Yeah, pretty much.
Look at this.
There you go, baby.
With the security cameras.
Security cameras, man.
Oh, man.
On the property, basically everywhere we just walked at, man. So there goes Chicago CPD.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, bro.
That's good.
Yeah.
They live across the street?
No.
Or they're just
Always on the property. Always around.
Now, why do you think it's important to have eyes on your property?
I tell you why. It's because that's how I learned the tenants. That's how I end up learning the tenants and their habits. But then that's how I learned that I had drug infestation in my own property. And see, I could have lost the property. One tenant had a bag of cocaine on the table. We trying to get her to renew the lease. My wife and my property manager walked in and said, hey, yeah, let's renew the lease. Yeah, we get back to the office. They like, yeah, let's write up the lease. I said, no, don't write up the lease.
Look at this.
They like, why? I said, cause she had a bag of cocaine on the table. I ain't losing my building for her. So end up giving her papers, walking papers, 30-day notice. She had to go. But it took me a minute to get out because it's Cook County. Lost money, but at the end of the day, I ain't losing my building. So sometimes you have to revamp.
Yeah, guys, that's just another dynamic that you experience as an owner. All right, guys, I actually have a mutual friend with Ryan, and unfortunately, he had a random person actually passed away on his premises, on his property. And there was news people out there. It was horrific, right? And things happen like that to landowners. Like those are the horror stories many people don't see. And many people, when you hear that story, you might say, "Oh no, I'm not going to buy a property." Again, the odds of that happening is minor, right? It's minuscule. But the point is this: you got to be able to survive in your market.
Yeah.
And you can stabilize. You can bounce back from this.
Yeah.
Once you start to embark in business and real estate, if you're a winner, every single time that you acquire property, you're going to get sharper and sharper. This thing is going to become a well-oiled machine. So if you don't mind sharing a few tips before we close out, deaI, what are like the top 3 to 5 gems that you learned to help you survive in the real estate market of Chicago?
Well, one is I had to be informed on Cook County laws. So in Chicago, you have to be informed on the Cook County laws because you could try to evict a tenant, but it's not going to be easy. I had to I didn't have to, but I ended up having to call the police on the tenant. Illegal lockout, been through that. All kind of stuff. It took them 6 months to get out. Another tip is don't get emotional attached to a property. Don't get emotional attached to properties here. Learn to, in the Chicago market, learn to make sure that you serve them 5-day notices. Those are two to three things that I can think of.
So pretty much know your tenancy laws, ins and out, right? Secondly is make sure you don't get emotionally involved or attached, because sometimes those tenants can get under your skin.
Oh man,
they try to push your buttons, right? But you gotta be calm, you gotta be poised, you gotta carry yourself as a professional. Yeah, absolutely correct. And third, like deaI did, he said, you know what? I just gotta tough it out. Even though I had to go through several evictions.
Oh wow, 6 months.
Even though this might have been a pain in the butt to deal with, but I'm gonna make sure I do it right. I'm going to set up some type of fail-safe type of initiatives to make sure you don't experience those mistakes again. To the point, you said, all right, I got this unit, let me get another one. Yeah. All right, guys. So as always, this is to your success. I'm proud of you, deaI. We was dapping him up off the camera too, man. It's exciting for people because there's so many people out there who just view the content, they get well educated, but they're just not closing deals. Yeah. So it's rewarding to see you in Chicago, see you in Pittsburgh, do the coaching thing, to the point you're like, all right, I'm gonna do this.
And I can do it. It's not just that I'm gonna do it, but I can do it. You have to convince yourself with affirmations like you teach every day. So you have to learn how to mentally balance yourself, but also financially balance yourself, but also physically balance yourself. So it's like a balance of life, and that's what it is.
That's what it is. The mindset always trumps the skill set.
Yes, sir.
Please believe.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
guys, so we're out of here, and check out 100percentfinance.com for more information.
Yes.
Peace out.